My name's Ashley John Heather. I'm the co-founder and president here at Lumati. We are a health platform helping to optimize your longevity. This is my 6th startup, so I've been around the block a bunch with tech startups and media startups and so forth. We started as a clinic. We have a very advanced longevity clinic in San Diego under the brand Lumati, and now we are extending and creating what we call a clinic in a box. We're building a capsule that you step inside and you get diagnostics and clinical support for certain conditions in the longevity space. Yeah, I think hiring is always a balance of knowing people and trust, right? When you're in fast growing, you need people to dig in and move quickly, trusted folks. So typically those come through recommendations. Maybe people we've worked with before who bring mini teams together. You can't always fill every role with people you've already worked with. Sometimes you want a bigger candidate pool. Obviously the challenge with that is, well, how do you do that? LinkedIn, obviously a strong platform for elements of that, but still a lot of effort to work through it and use it and figure out who's good, who's not. But you can pay a recruitment agency. Obviously, they've been around for a long time to help with some of that, understand the roles, what's needed, guide through the process. They can be expensive, especially for a startup if you're hiring lots of people and you're paying 20-30% of salary or a big retainer. Like everything, it's just time, right? Time to do it, execute it, to do the interviewing, to sift through all the candidates, to figure out who's real, who's not real, and just like everything, it's just the time that it takes to do that. The more time you spend, maybe the better results you'll get. But most startups are time poor. They don't have resources allocated to the hiring. They may be very lean on the HR side because they're really focused on product or other pieces of the business, scaling, sales. Yeah, so when looking at the role of VP of Marketing, we decided to use a new approach, a new platform. It was a senior role, so we wanted to match some of the cultural fit. We wanted to have a broad look out there to see what was going on. There was nobody in our management team that had an instant perfect fit of somebody to bring into the role. But again, we hadn't had the budget necessary to go out to a full recruitment agency. So we decided to use Z for that. And it was great, pretty seamless experience. That first step was getting a great pool. And then of course, the next step is sifting through that pool and coming up with the top 5 or 6 candidates from that. So again, worked pretty quickly to identify what the traits were we were looking for, and so that the Z could go out there and interview those 30, 40, 50 candidates and find the best and then rank score and provide us a spreadsheet with summaries, and even go as far as kind of booking those meetings into our calendar so we could just jump on for a first hour. And that was really our first touch, speaking to a live candidate probably 2 weeks after kicking off the campaign. So super short timeline from sort of here's the person we're looking for to actually be interviewing finalist candidates. Typically that process might take a few months. This was a couple of weeks. So that was great because we were in a hurry, a startup. We needed to move quickly. And then actually we're impressed by all the candidates we have had strengths in areas, not surprisingly. Of course, they were all picked on the rankings that we'd created for Z. So, came up with 6 good candidates. And we would have hired them all in different ways, different capacities. They weren't all right exactly for the VP of Marketing, but they're all good people, a good cultural fit. And so, we then sort of took over the process there in terms of interviewing those 6, had a second interview with a couple of them, and then made our choice, a week or 2 later. So, probably 30 days from start to finish, which is, rapid fire in the world of sort of HR and hiring. Yeah, so I think the biggest thing that Zeta solved for us was getting a high quality candidate shortlist in a very short amount of time that had a cultural fit and a skill set fit to the job spec. So, filling that role in under 30 days seamlessly with very little distraction from our day-to-day business. So return on time, as we like to say, so minimal time invested for maximum return. Very happy with our candidate. We're digging in hard with her now and building the business. So it's been great. Yeah, I think like most organizations, we're using AI across the board, from marketing to just helping us with our voice and tone and creating content. That's a pretty much given now. But where we dig in a little bit deeper is really on the clinical side and the medical side. We have some pretty sophisticated tools to look at your health, sort of your diagnostics basically, whether it's your DNA, data genetics report, essentially, whether it's your blood work. We have some very specific tests in our clinic that we do. So really bringing all of that data together, aggregating that, pulling it into a platform and then analyzing it and giving our clinicians a first cut of what some of the conditions might be, or what some of the, connecting the dots basically between the data we're seeing on the individual. So accelerating our ability to create a personalized roadmap for the individual, especially those with chronic conditions. It's still early, obviously still a lot of work's required to finesse these tools and use them, but they're coming along quickly and keep evolving. So it's an exciting landscape to see now. We're using AI in the HR side and on top of everything else.